Good evening, everyone. I'm Daron Charkoudian, Chair of the Street Fair Committee. And tonight we're going to have one of our periodic updates from Joe. The agenda has 4 points, probably combine a couple of them. I'll start off with the updates on 2025 revenues and outlook for the rest of 2025 and perhaps into 2026, to the extent you have any information on that, Joe. Also, the 2025 projection for the total street fair revenue, and we can discuss potential for the holiday market. We had a couple of years back, I know we were looking for different spots last year. So with that, Joe, I'll turn it over to you. What can you tell us about 2025 year to date? I know we've had, I guess started what, about a month ago?
Roughly, yes. Although I must tell you, I'm Joe Giovanni, by the way, with Mardi Gras Festival Productions, just for the record. But the weather hasn't been too cooperative, Daron, as we know. But that's part of the nature of the business, so we can't control the weather. But in any event, things have been going according to our proposed projection of events to date. We did do a Bowling Green event. We did do a single block event for you to date. There's another one coming up, and then a multi-block on the 4th of July. But all the events that we've got scheduled through the Street Activity Permit Office have all been approved. Met with them and went over the entire schedule. So there should be no problems with any of that or the Bowling Green events.
Okay.
So we're hoping, and by the way, starting June 1st, as you know, we started that last year. We are doing the sidewalk sale on Liberty Street. So that will start, as I said, the sidewalks, the sidewalk sale that we have exhibitors along the sidewalk, not on the street. Street's still open to traffic, and it's the wide sidewalk of Liberty Street.
And when is that?
Pat, that took place for all last year. So
I'm sure.
I didn't get any calls from you, so I assumed that it was okay.
Yeah.
How many of those are taking place, the sidewalk sales?
The sidewalk sales start the beginning of June and they run through the end of October.
How many of those? That's the 20?
There's 20 of them, right? There's 20 of them. So that alone should get you at least $12,000. We're going to hope that, as it picks up, we might be able to increase the number of exhibitors or maybe some of the fees, and you might even wind up with a little bit more money than that.
So far, what has CB1 earned on the events that have occurred in 2025 calendar year?
To date, I believe you got a $1,500 event and a $3,000 event, $4,500.
$4,500. Okay.
Correct.
And then how does that? Okay, so that.
But by the way, let me, not to interrupt you, Daron, but you know what? Just for accounting wise, I don't know if you want them individually as they come, the payments. What we've been doing, because of, I guess it goes to the Department of Finance and however that works out, is we've been trying to categorize it and hold off. So in other words, all the Bowling Greens would be in one payment and labeled that way, and all of the single block street fairs would be labeled that way, and so would the multi-block events with permit numbers. Do you want to continue it that way, or?
I'm sorry, I was texting Tammy.
So this, he was saying, do we want to piecemeal it, or we want to wait until all the events are done and then you get each?
You can give me everything at one time. That's quite fine.
Okay. I just didn't know how you want to, because you're not the only board that we do events for, and some of them like it before. I think July 1st is the financial ending of this.
They don't know what they're doing, because you're able to roll over your street fair money every year, unless they're losing their money. I don't know, but that's not my business. I don't work for them. But we are able to roll over those funds every year and use it at our leisure.
Okay. All right, so then if it's fine with you, then we'll leave it that way.
Okay, so next, so with the 4,500 we already have, what's between the Bowling Green, the single block, the multi-block and the sidewalk sales? What's without a holiday market, what's the
Without
projection?
a holiday market, you're looking at 23,000.
23,000, okay, that would be, okay, 23K for that, okay. Without the holiday market, including what we already have, what's like the projected non-holiday market, everything else, revenue for CV1 here in 2025?
Correct. So 23,000. But just so you know, with the holiday market, I had actually a meeting scheduled about a month ago, and it got canceled. But we have something scheduled for, I believe, the second week in June to discuss with the Parks Department the possibility of the sidewalk space along the very wide sidewalk of Broadway.
Where exactly?
By City Hall. It would be like by City Hall Park. It's not where City Hall physically is. It would be, I'd say, about 50 feet from the entrance of City Hall to down to I guess it's Barclay Street. That would be the question.
Okay, so that's, you said in June, so if we have a July update meeting, potentially you can give us an update on where that stands?
Yes.
Okay, great, okay. What would, what's the, I guess, okay, so that.
And by the way, I am also gonna talk to them again. It's just that the expenses to do it at the closed street of the World Trade Center, we were talking to them last year. The expenses to do things there, because it's basically all union and you have to have all of their people do everything, were pretty astronomical. So we just couldn't take the gamble of going that direction. But not that the union is still there, but I do understand from one or two of the people that I was talking to at Westfield, who actually run the property along with the Port Authority, that there may be some wiggle room in terms of the numbers of their people and the way they operate for this year. So I'm going to have a conversation with them.
Great, okay, keep us posted there. Okay, so I think that covers our agenda. I don't think we need to cover an outlook for 2026 now. I think it's too early for that, so we'll take that off the final agenda. Okay, so the holiday market discussion forthcoming, 23K projection, we've earned 4,500 so far. Okay, so are there any questions or comments? I don't have any, Lucy or Pat, do you guys have anything for Joe?
No,
Okay,
No, we haven't received any complaints. So.
no.
okay,
But
yeah,
thank you, we finally bought a new copy, thank you, Boo.
okay.
The copy was dying, so
And so has it been delivered? You have it now?
we delivered next week when I'm back.
All right, okay, that's great news. Okay, Joe, what else do you have for us? I know we talked about the weather, and I saw something, the headline that the summer's gonna be a very rainy summer, so another eye roll here, right?
Yeah.
Are the other parts of, I guess, we have a little bit of time here, perhaps we can go slightly off topic. What are the other promoters telling you about the other parts of Manhattan, as far as, are they struggling too a little bit with the weather, or is that?
Yeah, the weather is the weather, and to be honest with you, we don't know yet, because the season's really just starting. We don't know yet if it's because of the tariff situation and these things are going on, but a lot of the events that we do that are in and around tourist neighborhoods where hotels are significantly decreased right now.
Right, because of the
Tourists are not coming.
travel.
Yes.
So, I attended the Hell's Kitchen Food Festival on Sunday. That's always a good one. Do you happen to know what they said over the weekend? Was it a decent turnout for them?
The 9th Avenue Food Festival?
The Hell's Kitchen, the one that happened Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm. No, I did not I did not get an update on that.
Yeah, I don't know, I can't, it's hard for me to gauge, but the weather cooperated, both days, so hopefully they got something good. I spent a few bucks on, what did I buy? I bought empanadas and,
All food.
I stopped at Poseidon Bakery, the Greek bakery over there. I had to get some stuff like it's excellent, right? So,
Joe, do you think that the pack on the Trade Center site, is there any way to tell whether the getting, people to come down, has that all helped with any of the fares?
I think, I think that, that's why, we've done a lot of events, as you know, Pat, on Liberty Street.
Oh,
And it happens to be one of the, best locations for a multitude of reasons, not only because of the number of people that go through the street, whether they're coming to or from the World Financial Center and the corridor and most of the businesses that are there. But we have to keep in mind too that the city has a lot of rules and regulations when we do these things, and the fire department actually has severely increased the requirements to do events, meaning that they for years they had a 12-foot wide variance permit that we used to apply for. They decided that they're no longer going to do that. So what that means is that unless the street is wide enough to be able to have a 15-foot wide fire lane, which Liberty Street does, and very few streets in Lower Manhattan, as you know, we all, you guys live here. I've worked downtown for my entire professional career. We all know the street. They're very difficult to navigate, and we also know 30% of them right now are under construction. So it's one way or the other. It's like if they're not under construction from the Department of Transportation, they're buildings. They're giving buildings permits to put take away lanes and things like that. Left and right. So it's very difficult. So Liberty Street is like a key street so far that checks all of the boxes where we can hold these events, and it's still been fairly successful in terms of population, because at the end of the day, we know that if the vendors aren't going to make money, they're not going to participate, and then it's not going to be good for either one of us. So
yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I'm just bearing with it.
Yeah.
We're all bearing with it. As you know, they just closed Thames Street. You know that, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So we can't turn on when you're on Trinity. You can't make any turns on right-hand turns on Thames. And if Liberty is closed, you can't make any right-hand turns on Liberty. So then you have to go all the way up to VC. Anyway, you know the craziness.
yes.
So, I'm not happy, but I'm dealing with it.
Sometimes I just, listen, we navigate through the whole city. What we do, to me, it's like sometimes I just, you get frustrated. You say, doesn't the left hand talk to the right hand? Like nobody knows what's going on.
No, never, ever. And they wear blindfolds too. Thanks, Joe.
thank you.
Oh, you're
So I
welcome.
think we'll plan for a meeting off the top of my head. If we combine with Quality Life or exec, that would bring us to the second half of July, right? Joe, are you around? I won't throw out dates, but do you tend to be around second half of July?
Yeah, I'm around most of the summer. So all of the summer actually. But so I don't know, Duran, if I would have any kind of update yet, knowing the way the city works, and especially Parks Department, because even when they like an idea, even if it's something that they're considering, it's pulling teeth. The only thing I can tell you is you usually get a quick no. That I'll tell you. So I might have a quick no.
So I think so. I think at that point, we just want an update on the actual revenues earned and whatever progress you made in June with or if there's another meeting scheduled or anything like that. I think that's all we need to do. And then if that 23K butt has changed, you can note that too. So I think that would be a fairly quick meeting like this one.
Okay, fine. No worries.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Close the line. Okay.
Thanks,
Good to
Joe.
see everybody.
Joe.
Have a good one. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.